Welcome back to Congress Alliance, where I cut through the noise, dissect the truth, and illuminate the American political landscape like no one else. If you're new here, hit subscribe, because today's story is one you won't want to miss.
Mr. Chairman, thanks, Mr. Bessant, for being here. Help me out here. My understanding is the Trump administration has, I think, 13 billionaires in office right now, leading government agencies. Is that about right, do you think?
I have no idea, Senator.
I think that's what the number is. Do you think it's a coincidence, given the large number of billionaires in the Trump administration, that this particular piece of legislation would provide $235 billion in tax breaks to the top 0.2% by expanding the exemptions in the estate tax?
Senator, I will tell you that when the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act passed, my tax rate went up.
Well, I don't know your exact situation, but I can tell you. Tell me about how many people do you think are in the top 0.2%?
Sorry?
Number of people in the top 0.2% who would benefit from this particular $235 billion tax break.
Well, the top, I know the top 10% is right. now paying 7%.
That's not the question. My question is, why do you think at a time of unprecedented income and wealth inequality, when people like yourself economically have never, ever had it so good, why do you think it's a good idea to cut Medicaid for low-income and working-class people by $700 billion to give $235 billion in tax breaks to the very, very, very richest people in this country, perhaps a few hundred families? Please justify that and tell me about that.
Well, Senator, I don't know, but the Democrats had the trifecta, and there was no tax increase or wealth tax on billionaires. You choose.
I'm not talking about a tax.
You chose not
Mr.
to do
Bessant, I am not talking about a wealth tax. Explain. A few hundred of the wealthiest families in this country, $235 billion tax break. Explain to the American people why you think that's a great idea.
I think that this will increase small businesses substantially. That most small businesses, they are...
Has zero to do with, come on, you're smarter than that. This is the top 0.2%. This is not a mom and pop store. These are multi-billionaires, and the savings go to their kids after they pass away. This is nothing more than a gift to billionaires in this country.
Well, sir, that's just not correct, because the top 10% paid a bigger share of taxes after TCJA.
I'm talking about one provision in this. I don't want to argue with you about taxes in general. One provision, few hundred families, $235 billion in tax breaks. You can't justify that because morally it is totally unjustifiable. Let me ask you another question. If you guys want to cut $1 trillion in Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act, the estimate from CBO, I believe, is that over 15 million people lose their health insurance. Yale University and the University of Pennsylvania estimated that when you throw that many low-income and working-class people off of health care, some 50,000 people a year will die. Tell me why you think it's a good idea to give tax breaks to billionaires and allow 50,000 low-income and working-class people to die unnecessarily?
Senator, first of all, that's overstated by 5.1 million. That is not attributed to this bill. It is simply...
It's a combination. That's true.
No. You all had a scheduled expiration of Obamacare subsidies, and you did not extend that when you were in charge. 5.1 million. 1.4 million illegal aliens on Medicaid. All right, and there are work requirements. And our goal is to get more money to children and mothers.
Really? Your goal is to get more money to children, and working people. Really, come on. Do you know how many people, and I was surprised to hear this, I don't know if you know it or not, how many people lose their jobs every year, quit, or get fired or whatever? Do you have any idea?
Well, there's something called the quits rate, and so when the job market is strong, more people quit.
But yeah, I was surprised that I just researched this. I don't know. Do you happen to know?
I don't know the number.
I was surprised. Would it be shocking to you? It was to me. 20 million people leave their jobs a year. Doesn't shock you, right? It's a big labor force, right?
Yep.
So somebody leaves the job, maybe they move, maybe something happens in their lives, right? We have a lot of transition in the labor market, correct?
Maybe they get a better job.
Right, exactly. Maybe they do. Or maybe They have to stay home, their wife gets sick, whatever, we don't know. But 20 million people lose their jobs in a given year, leave their jobs in a given year. Are those people lazy? What happens when I leave my job and maybe I have to move to another state to take care of my ill mother, and I desperately need Medicaid? Am I too lazy now to be able to get Medicaid?
I think that's a mischaracterization of the work requirement.
What unfolded inside that Senate chamber wasn't just a disagreement, it was a collision, a moral and economic showdown that could shape the future of millions of Americans. Picture this: Senator Bernie Sanders, fiery as ever, faces off against Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessant. The issue: who deserves to benefit from America's enormous wealth, and who gets left behind? Sanders comes out swinging, grilling Bessant on a proposal to hand over $235 billion in tax breaks to the richest 0.2% of Americans, the absolute elite, while cutting $700 billion from Medicaid, the lifeline for working-class and low-income citizens. Sanders calls it morally totally unjustifiable, but Bessant stands his ground, insisting the 2017 Tax Cuts and Jobs Act made the top 10% pay more and would unleash a boom in small business growth. Sanders isn't having it. You can feel the frustration radiate as he pushes back hard, but the stakes get even higher when healthcare enters the debate. Sanders pulls out data from Yale, UPenn, and the CBO, warning that cuts to Medicaid and the Affordable Care Act could mean 15 million people losing health insurance. And up to 50,000 preventable deaths every single year. Suddenly, this isn't just about numbers. It's about lives. Bessant pushes back, calling the projections exaggerated, blaming expiring ACA subsidies, and controversially referencing illegal aliens on Medicaid, a remark that turns up the heat in the room. Sanders fires the central question: how can the government justify giving billionaires a giant tax cut while risking the health of America's most vulnerable? Bessant defends the policy, citing work requirements and a promise to get more money to children. But the philosophical divide is crystal clear. This wasn't just a policy debate. It revealed a rift at the heart of American governance, one that could decide who thrives, who struggles, and who gets left out of the promise of this country. But the real question is, what comes next? Because the fallout from this hearing is only beginning. Stay with me. Stay with me. The next chapter may be the most revealing yet.